is a Bramble Jam podcast. Hi, I'm Brandon, and I love Hallmark classic movie Christmas movies.
Hey.
Man.
It's Panda, and I like classic Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Dan. Boy, am I. I despise Hallmark classic movies. This is the Deck the Hallmark podcast. Can I tell you, when you record a lot of these,
Also, so hungry.
yeah, I'm starving, first of all. Second of all, I thought for the life of me we were coming back from break.
What do you think we've been doing the last 20 minutes?
No, but I, when you do as many of these as we do, you just, when the music, like, we either intro or we're coming back from break. And I was doing it, we're back.
We're back.
I was expecting you to be like, yeah, we're back. I was like, oh, yeah. And instead,
You think we came back to break with the Bramble Jam stinger?
Pants down. No, I don't. Hey, listen.
Oh,
I
that's
just
right,
know
you
when
don't
you, like, you know, and it was just a whole thing. Win some, you lose some. That was a big fat L right there.
Well, good thing it's Friday, everybody. Start that weekend. Take the day off. That's right. Man, very exciting today, guys. Finding Father Christmas, of course, and also the start of March Madness, which, if you want our experts analysis, and I think you will want to, we have been doing this.
Yep.
We have been doing this together. We've been getting together and filling out our brackets.
14.
And recording them for weird reasons.
Since 2014.
And I'm very excited. You know what? You can listen to that if you join Bramble Jam Plus.
That's right.
Even at the lowest tier, you will get that audio.
If you listen to it Friday morning, you've got time to join the ESPN Tourney Challenge.
That's exactly right.
Facebook group.
That's exactly right.
That's
And we got some swag on the line. The winner's going to win a T-shirt.
That's right.
And some other goodies. And so make sure that you sign up.
This is probably my best year so far.
You think it's your
sure.
best year so far?
The first year you did it, you were like, you just used a buddy of yours, all of his math.
Yeah, I did. I've been doing that every year since.
All of his math?
He does.
My friend is a data scientist, not a joke.
Yeah.
Data
Yeah.
scientist, like legit,
Yeah.
like brilliant,
Yeah.
has been interviewed by ESPN because a few years in a row, he got one of the highest scores using
Yeah.
his metric system that he
puts
created.
it out on the line?
So
He does.
What that means?
So you're going to use it to...
he uses it every year.
You
Yeah,
used it
I
this
have
year?
to see if he normally puts it out.
What
I gotta
that
check. I'm
means
sure
for
he did.
Panda is he's consistently like
Wrong.
No. You're usually in the top half, and then every now and then you'll never be in the bottom half doing that. And occasionally you pop. Like one year you won it.
Yeah.
And so like,
There's always the surprises,
but
though,
it takes the fun out of it if you do it that way.
Well, this year I may switch it up.
You're going to go by feeling.
What do you mean, May? We already did our brackets.
What did you do?
Well,
How
you
did you
said
do
you
it?
used it.
Yeah,
Did you use it or did you do by feeling?
I did by feeling.
Okay.
And I'm going. Who would win in a bar fight between mascots?
Wow.
Classic.
You got to know all the mascots to do that. So
I'm feeling good about it.
Iona.
Yeah, no, they win every time.
I want to pick Iona.
They're the ragweeds. Allergies win every
Yeah.
time.
They're the Gales.
Yeah,
Like
have you
Gales.
ever tried to beat a Gale?
You're
can't.
right. No. I would agree with that, but you didn't know their mascot. You thought they were the ragweeds.
Like wind?
I guess.
Yeah.
No, a woman named Gail.
Hey,
I need
I'm
this blanket.
Gail.
Iona. Iona. Gale. Iona. Iona. Gale.
This
Just
is the kind of stuff you get for the
Annoys you
preview
right
show.
out of the gym.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you're going to dribble, huh? Really? That's how you're going to. You chose those uniforms? You did. Interesting. Fascinating. That's what you. It's the NCAA tournament. You went with those. It's fascinating. Everything's at your disposal, and you were like, let's just go with
They
these.
shame their opponents every time.
Yeah, passive aggressive for sure.
Oh, those shoes. Those Jordans. Weak. We're talking about Finding Father Christmas. Now, a quick story behind this. Our first year, we did Marrying Father Christmas. We had you guys. I've seen all three, but you guys had not seen Finding or Engaging, and so now, 3 years later, we saw it fit to do it finally. So we're doing Finding Father Christmas, and I believe we're going to put a pause on Engaging because now we have to go back and rectify another trilogy situation.
Yeah.
It's nonstop here, guys. It's nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Rubik's Cube of movies. We're just trying to figure out
Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We got to find the perfect.
I'm starving. Hit me with that synopsis.
Finding Father Christmas originally aired on
9:57 with daylight saving, and we're starving.
I don't know to tell you. Originally aired on November 13th, 2016.
2016.
That guy.
Hello?
Hello.
Who are you?
I announced the year of our Lord.
Yeah, you do. Hey,
In
who
the
you
year
got?
of our Lord, 2016.
Who you got winning all this year?
I don't know. Gail bothered me.
Gail bothers you.
She said my voice sounded unprofessional.
Yes. Thank you,
Jerry. Jerry Towns, year of our Lord, 2016.
Has there ever been a year that's not of our Lord?
Yes,
Which year?
1911.
What happened?
Halley's Comet.
Halley's Comet's not from the Lord?
No, devil. It's a devil comet.
So is that the year of our devil?
The year of our Satan.
Okay.
1911.
Hey. It went a little something like that. The movie kicks off with Lil Miranda. Lil Miranda doing a quick rap.
Lil Miranda on the track.
Yeah. Her mom is on stage performing a Christmas carol as she does every night around Christmas. Suddenly, Miranda hears the crowd gasp. Her mom fell and passed away. 20 years later, Miranda is an interior designer and she hates Christmas. It reminds her of the loss that she had. She gets a call from a dude saying, "Hey, I found something of your mom's. Come and get it." It's a suitcase. She opens it up. She discovers a secret envelope underneath the fabric of the suitcase, and inside is a playbill and a picture of some random boy on Santa's lap. She does some sleuthing, because this is Movies and Mysteries, and discovers that the picture was taken in Carlton Heath, Vermont. And so she goes to Carlton Heath to try to find some answers, and she meets a guy named Ian. He's carrying firewood, so you know they're going to make out later. He starts to show her around town, and she dives headfirst into family traditions, and she meets the people of the town, but she can't seem to get the answers or find the answers to the questions that she has. And she's at this party, and suddenly she sees the picture that she has of the boy on Santa's lap. But it's inside this family's house. And it turns out that James Whitcomb and his son are the two people in this picture. Now, James was from this town and was an actor who loved the town, and the town loved him. They even named the local theater after him. He has since passed on, but his son Peter still lives there. Very unsure about Miranda. He seems to have his guard up a little bit around her. Seems to question her. "Oh, you're the daughter of an actor. What's that like?" "I know what it's like." Stuff like that.
It's good stuff.
Thank you. With the help of Ian, Miranda discovers that the playbill was from the Playhouse in Carlton Heath. They changed the name for James, but it used to be called whatever it was called, and now they know. She figures out that James is her dad. So big wows there, because she didn't know. But it's really tricky because James was married to a woman named Margaret, who is coming into town for the holidays to spend it with her family. Ian takes Miranda on a carriage ride, and they end up kissing. And don't you worry, they're going to kiss a few more times by the end of this movie. You bet your bottom dollar. She does decide that she loves the town. She's going to stick around. Things are getting hot and heavy fast. Margaret shows up, and Miranda is very intimidated by her. Ian, who's not an actor, steps in for his dad to do the Christmas Carol. Miranda realizes how much she missed the theater. She's at a meal with Ian, the Whitcombs, the kids, all that stuff, and they start really probing her about her life, like who's your mom, who's your dad, all that stuff. And she gets very weird about it, and Margaret, sensing something here, sends those kids off, and she just starts to drill her. Who's your mom? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And Margaret decides now's the time to stand up and tell everybody the truth about James. Peter is not having it. Peter is James's son, and he's like, you're only here for the money, blah, blah, blah. But Margaret's like, I'm not surprised by this at all. Let me tell you a quick story about how me and James were going to get a divorce. Peter's like, what? James was on the road with Miranda's mom. You know how babies are made. That happened. And James ended up getting sick, and Eve, who's Miranda's mom, convinced him to go home, be with the family. And Margaret and James, they worked on their marriage, and they had a wonderful rest of their life together. And Eve loved him so much that she would encourage him to go, and it was this very sweet moment. And Miranda's like, how did you know about this, Margaret? And Margaret's like, he told me everything, which sounds intense, but she has a smile on her face, so I guess it's all good. They're having a wonderful little family moment, and Peter's like, hey, sorry for overreacting earlier. They go back on that nice carriage ride, and they kiss again, and she's like, I wish every Christmas was like this. And he was like, me too, girl. And that, my friends, was Finding Father Christmas. That's exactly right.
We did it.
Hey.
We're going to break this movie down. We got 4 segments to do so. We're going to do that after we take a quick break and hear from some of the people that pay to put things into podcasts.
Okay.
I've heard it's an up-and-coming business, and it might be booming.
Ooh, interesting.
Let's see what happens when we go to break. Let's see if something happens. We'll see.
It's good to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Bran.
Oh, man.
Jerry, you there?
Hello.
Jerry, you watched this movie. What'd you think of it, pal?
I was looking for the dates and found Father Christmas instead. Delightful.
Thank you, Jerry. We have 4 segments to break this movie down. We always start with a hot take. It is where we share how we felt about it, our opinions, our feelings, our emotions, and we do not hold back. Holding back would be a disgrace to this art, and no one's more passionate about his art than my friend Panda. Panda, paint for us, pal. Paint with your words.
You got it, buddy. Listen, this movie's interesting mainly because the main mystery is actually fairly scandalous. Like it is, like it is for a Hallmark movie. This is a fairly scandalous.
Were you singing a line from the Thong Song?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not proud of it.
It's a PG rated podcast, buddy.
Listen, I sing words that fit, and you don't have to point out the songs that they're from.
That's fair.
It's not a requirement.
That's on you.
You brought it out into the open.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
You're really mucking it up out there, Dan.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that.
Mucker.
So, fairly scandalous. That said, the movie itself, we figure out probably what happened, although I was probably more shocked because I was like, they're not really going to go there. I was waiting for them to pull their punch. They did go there, to their credit. We figure out that plot and that story fairly early. Like, we figure out what happens fairly early, and the rest of the movie is kind of boring outside of that. Like, that outside of that mystery, the movie itself kind of dull. Here's what I liked about it. A lot of really good Christmas feels. The Christmas town is charming. It's great. I really like Aaron and Niall. Like, I don't mind them. Niall Mater. I don't mind them together. I think they're kind of charming and cute. I like that he very early on lets his intentions be known. There's not any of this give and take. That said, this movie's a little slow for me. It's all right. It's good. But it's memorable for purely like pretty bold.
Yeah,
what they did. So there you go.
I do like this movie. This obviously aired before we started doing this podcast. And I remember watching it, and I remember loving it, and it giving me all those Christmas feels, as you talked about. It is quite the scandal. I was surprised that they went there. I will say they pulled their punch a little bit with still making Eve, Miranda's mom, the good guy.
That's
here.
right.
Like hey, you need to go back and be with your
Yes, they
family.
do.
Like, because they can't, make her awful. Like, you don't want her to be
Hallmark.
like, oh my gosh, my mom's an awful person.
Or maybe she just made a mistake.
Yeah, maybe
And
she-
she
yeah.
still could be a good person, like, everyone on the planet.
So, I mean, it obviously is a bold move to make cheating such an important part of the storyline. There's a couple characters that don't quite gel. I wish they would have been casted differently. Like, I think Peter's role is very important to this story, and I don't like him. I don't think
That
that
role
his
just needs someone with an upper lip. That's the thing.
I don't think his performance was bringing what was needed for that role. But overall, I really do like this movie. I think personally, I would have stopped here. I don't think you need to give us more, but they do with 2 more movies. And so what can you do? Overall, really fun mystery, and overall really liked it, especially because of the Christmas. Dan?
I don't know what's more disappointing, a movie that just doesn't have anything and just kind of plays to all the tropes, or a movie that does something like this and then completely pulls the rug out from doing anything of value with the end. The problem is if you remember Marrying Father Christmas at all, a lot of this mystery wasn't a mystery for us, unfortunately. But even if it was, you can crack that case pretty quickly. And then the only thing left to figure out is, wait a minute, this is pretty salacious. Like an affair, a child out of wedlock, things that Hallmark don't deal with. And then the rest of the movie is a love story. And then I looked at Bran. There were a little bit over 5 minutes left in this movie when Wendy Malick, who's far too good for this movie,
Margaret,
starts in on the monologue about what happened with her husband and, Aaron's father. And it is just a monologue that corrects all the problems or all the good things about the movie. Like, that's what it is. It's just, it's just unloading plot that makes it all okay to show on Hallmark. And the movie isn't great to begin with. The 2 leads are fine in it. Wasn't my favorite. The mystery of finding your father is a really good, cool mystery. And then they basically just do a data dump at the end of this movie that totally just undercuts any sort of momentum they have going forward. It's memorable, but not good. Not one of my favorites, not even middling. I didn't like it. Not a good movie.
It is nice, though, to have a mystery movie at Christmas that's a legit mystery.
That's right.
That's
True.
really good.
Yes.
And not just like a scavenger hunt or a looking for the owner of a necklace.
Just to put it in perspective, the Christmas Ring, which is an awful, awful trash heap of a movie. I cared more about the mystery of that ring by the end of the movie than I did about this by the end because of what they did at the end.
I disagree.
Like during the movie, you're like, oh my gosh, how are they going to make this okay? Which is wonderful. But after they do that 5-minute speech, it's like, why are we even doing this? Why are we even trying?
But you have to, within the confines of Hallmark, you have to do that. Like, you have to make it.
I think there's a way.
If it's not a Hall of Fame movie, like if it's a Hall of Fame movie, it can be open-ended. But like,
not open-ended. I think there's a way to say, hey, my husband made a mistake. He loved your mom very much, but he came back to me, and it's okay. It's all right. People aren't perfect. Like, it's okay.
I think what Dan's getting at is I don't know why they had to make Eve the good
agree.
guy.
That's right.
I agree with that. You don't have to.
Because, either way, Miranda's going to have to deal with this. Like, This is news that my mom had me, with a guy who was married. Like, there's a lot there that you have to unpack.
And
and like, whether or not she was like, hey, like, I don't.
And to further my point, to process that takes longer than 5 minutes of a monologue. That's it. Just is not.
Everyone's remarkably well.
Yes,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, there's therapy that needs to happen.
Yes.
That just it doesn't by our count happen.
Happens in between 1 and 2.
Yeah, a lot of therapy.
Let's get to all the feels. Part of the show we talk about what this movie gives us feels. Panda.
Honestly, one of the best parts is when she opens the trunk of her mom for the first time, and she picks up, I think it's a scarf or something that her mom wore, and she smells it. Like, that is a very natural response when you haven't seen somebody in years, to sit there and immediately those scents take you back to a time and a place. And I think that's really powerful. Like, I still have some things of my grandma's that occasionally I'll smell something, I'll be like, man, I remember my grandma from that. And so that's a powerful scene for me, and something that I think really I think that's a really well done scene for memories. I don't remember seeing something like that normally in a Hallmark movie where they really like dive in, like where she smells.
It was a long scene of no dialogue.
Yeah, and it was well done enough. So kudos to Hallmark for that.
I mean, like Panda said in his hot take, the Christmas in this movie is dope.
The Christmas is great in this movie.
The trees are amazing. Yes. There's lots of just ginormous trees in this town, and they decorate them, and it looks beautiful. And I love it when you got the color lights on the big old snowy tree. Yep. It's always going to work for Brandon. And I will say, I liked the moment before he goes on stage. He's been trying to learn all these lines because his dad got sick. What did he have? He had a
minor heart attack.
Minor heart attack. That's
exactly right. He can't act, but he can go. She's been helping him, and she's finally kind of coming back around to the theater, which she was like really liked as a kid, being around her mom. And they kind of had this nice dialogue where he says something, and she like feeds him the next line, and he's like, "Oh, I know the line. I was just giving you a little compliment there." So I like that scene. I liked it a lot.
The main street of this town has 3 or 4 gigantic, real Christmas trees lining the streets of the town. I don't know how they did it. That's a very much a wait what. These are real trees. They're 30 feet high. They're decorated, and they're surrounded by pavement and asphalt everywhere. But it looks really cool. Like, I've never seen a town like that. Those trees, that was not a set deck. Those were, from what, like, at least if it was, it's the best set deck I've ever seen in a Hallmark movie. It looks like a real street. Those trees are massive. They look amazing. How cool is it to walk down a main street that has giant Christmas trees on it? Super impressed by that scene. That was the feels, no question about it.
I love it. Let's take one more quick break. We'll come back with the Wait What's and the What the Hallmarks.
Done.
Here on the Hallmark. We're back. Jerry, when were you born, pal?
The year of our Lord, 1956. Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers. It's time for the Wait What. It's the part of the show where we talk about what this movie made us go, wait, what? Panda.
I want to get this straight. The dad has acted in A Christmas Carol 30 years now. He says we've been doing this for 30 years without break. And he's played Scrooge for 30 years. And he is still struggling that much with his line. And he is just panicked like a week before A Christmas Carol. And it says that he burns himself out every year doing that. 30 years is a long time to play the same role and you to be struggling that much with the lines.
At some point, that's just kind of force a habit, right?
You've got like 30 years to learn these lines. That's a long.
I will say the movie portrayed him burning out because of everything he was doing, not because of the lines.
Fair.
But the fact that he doesn't know his lines in 30 years.
Come on, man. The same role. Like, I get memory gets trickier the older you get. I understand
In 1986, he was playing Scrooge in A Christmas Carol.
Come on, man. You got to learn these lines by now, buddy. You can do it. I believe in you. This is, I think, one of the fastest we've ever seen someone willing to uproot their entire life.
Oh, yeah.
To move cross country, quit their job.
Yeah.
She's it seems like she's pretty high up as a designer, and just be like, I'm good. What? It's less than a week.
Yeah. She just doesn't have anything, I guess. But for her to say yes,
she finally found family. She hasn't had it in 20 years.
She
goes all in fast.
She's just like
3 days.
She was walking out the door to go to Boston to fly back home, and instead she decides to stay forever.
I don't like that. That's shocking to me. That's the fastest turnaround. And then finally, and this is kind of a no-brainer. Wait, what? But it worked. Like, what's going on with the fact that they have this entire long monologue at the end, 5 minutes explaining it, and the brother, is his name Peter? Peter. He's just like, sorry about that.
He was furious. And then she gives the monologue, and he's like, you know what?
It's all good.
Makes sense now.
It's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's like, what are you going to do, though, when you're that angry and then your mom says, oh, yeah, your dad cheated on me and got another woman pregnant? Like, you can't still go, she's still here for the money. You can't double down at that
you
point.
can apologize, but
Still
his
gotta unpack
acting,
it.
his acting goes. It's just not well acted in my opinion.
It's a very slanted performance by him. I have a handful, if you guys will bear me the time.
I will bear you the time.
I won't. I'm done.
For someone who hates Christmas, which is what is implied about her character early on in the movie, she sure does have a very Christmassy ribbon going down the middle of her laptop.
That's right. She sure does.
For someone who doesn't want to be reminded of Christmas, you're doing a bad job. Maybe get rid of the ribbon. She finds this playbill. Yes?
Yep.
She finds the picture and the playbill, and the picture she finds out is from this town in Vermont. And she's talking to her friend, and her friend goes, well, maybe she was performing in Vermont.
This is a classic.
And she says she never performed in Vermont. Now, I have one as a question and another as a statement. One, what's your system like of knowing all the places that your mom ever performed? And two, the system's broken because she did.
Yeah.
She did perform in Vermont. That's what that's the playbill. Remember? The playbill is from the performance that she was in the theater that eventually changed the name. It is in Vermont.
You're right.
Her system is broken. What's her system? She's never in Vermont.
I know that. That's where I start.
Did she not Google? Like, if you Google search the theater that's on the back, it would pop up.
They didn't have Google back then.
Well, the Google they have doesn't work correctly anyway. You may be getting
At
to
one
that.
point, they have I'm not going to get there.
Okay.
But at one point, she shows the picture, I believe, to Ian's mom at the end. And it's Santa, and it's this little kid. And the mom says, who are they? Well, one of them's Santa.
Yeah.
So
Who is he?
who is he is a good, but one of them, Santa. She is walking down the street, and a clock bell. What would you call it? A bell.
A bell.
Bell tower?
Bell tower,
Bell tower, yeah.
is chiming, and she says, "I didn't think towns like this still existed."
What?
You didn't think bell towers still existed?
Middle America?
That's crazy. I didn't think this still happened. The kids at the end of the party, they say, thanks, grandmother. And I don't know. It just made me feel weird
You ever
inside.
called your grandmother in
Thank
your
you,
life?
grandmother.
Thank you, grandmother.
Yeah, Jerry,
That's what I call
Yeah.
my grandmother. I wouldn't call her anything else except for Nabs.
Thanks, Jerry.
Except for naps.
She was a bit of a thief.
So her nickname was Nap?
Nabs.
Because she would,
A bit of a thief.
yes.
Hot fingers.
When was she born?
Hot finger.
1912. 1 year after the year of Satan.
Is that the year of the Lord?
Yes, year of our Lord.
Sorry.
Nabs. R.I.P.
And again, guys, it's been a while since I've had one of these, but it always throws me for a loop. They have this tree lighting ceremony, and afterwards, and I just didn't see this one coming.
It's a good one.
Everyone at the same time goes into the 12 days of Christmas. Now, that is one heck of a time commitment. But two,
Lot of confidence.
They all were just like, this is the one that we are all going to go into after the tree lighting. We're going to go into the 12 days of Christmas.
Talk about practice, too. You got to know all those days.
Yeah, it still
bold.
throws people for a
bold.
loop.
It
It
is.
is very bold. That's all that I have. Dan.
Yeah, I got a few. The first.
I'll bear you the time.
Thank you. Please bear me the time. The first scene in this movie, her assistant is going through things that she needs to do that people have called about. And her assistant at work says this: your building super called and needs to know ASAP what you're bringing to the apartment Christmas potluck. So I just want to be clear. There's a superintendent of an apartment in the big city who's like planning a potluck for his apartment complex, which one, shoot me right in the head. Right in the head. Can you guys have been there, lived in apartments. Can you imagine an apartment complex potluck for Christmas that you had to go and hang out with those people and eat the food that they brought? First of all. Second of all, not only is he planning it, he's so frazzled by the fact that one of his tenants, he doesn't know what they're bringing. And the thing's just not coming together until he finds out what Aaron Krako's bringing to the potluck. And so he calls her at the apartment. No answer. I got her cell here. No answer. You know what? On that credit application, she did list her employer. Maybe, I mean, this is important. I need to know the food that she's bringing for the potluck.
You don't want to double up. You don't want to double up.
I'll just use that. I'm going to call her employer. Can I get the assistant on the line? Yes, this is urgent. What's Aaron baking or cooking for the potluck? How? How is that sentence written in a Hallmark movie? You should be ashamed, Hallmark. Ashamed. That is just 4 levels deep bad. You just don't even know how awful that line is. She's in Merriweather Falls, wherever the heck this place is, and she is trying to Google the relation between these two names, and she Googles the two names, and Google has nothing. Google says no.
0 searches.
No.
Now
we couldn't find anything. And so she does it a second time, and Google's like, still no.
Yeah.
Try harder.
I put this to the test with a handful of different names.
Dawson?
Danny Dawson was one of them. And there was always.
Google always has something.
The best that I got was there's not a lot.
But you put Tim Kruger in.
I put Tim Kruger in.
And it said there's not a lot here.
There's not a lot here, but here's
things.
a little something to wet your chops.
Google had 0. She broke Google.
Twice.
In this movie, in a row.
In a row.
I mean,
give me 2 names. Give me 2 names.
Daryl Foster.
Okay.
And Beverly Shoehorn.
Beverly
Shoehorn.
How do you spell shoehorn?
Shoehorn.
I love it. All right.
Is it nothing?
We broke it.
Is it nothing?
We broke it.
Yay!
Google.
Dude, it was that Beverly Shoehorn.
Shoehorn. That's a tough one.
Google sitting there going,
We can give you Daryl Foster.
Yeah. What is Google like?
Dude, Google's wild, man.
So later in this movie, Hallmark decides they're going to try to sneak a green screen past us. And by sneak a green screen, I mean they're going to show it for minutes at a time. They go on this carriage ride, and it is a full green screen. And then they go back to that same place and show us the same green screen. What? No.
Are you sure it's a green screen?
Oh my gosh. And the first time they show it, I'm pretty sure the horse is part of it.
Yeah.
The horse doesn't move a muscle. Either that or that horse has been trained expertly. After said carriage ride, she gets back. They've been on a carriage riding. Riding is faster than walking. She gets off the carriage and she says, I'm going to take a walk. And he says, are you sure it's cold out? You just went on a carriage ride in the cold. Are we really doing this right now? What in the world? And then my favorite, although those wait whats are egregious and hard to beat, this one's not nearly as egregious, but it is my favorite. They watched the entire play, which it's a one night only performance, can't pack the house out. Not great. They watched the entire play. Krako's in the front row. There's a kid who performed in the play, had lines, and at the after party, the kid comes up to Aaron and goes, did you see me on stage? Nope, missed you. You had invisible ink on. There's nothing I can do. You just covered your... Yes! There's 6 people in the crowd. There's 4 on stage. You got red hair.
How would you respond to a kid that asked you that question?
Exactly like that. I would legit, if they were old enough, I'd be like, no, you were in the play? I would do that bit for sure.
No, you dumb.
Kids love it. I would say
kids love it. Yeah. It's time for What the Hallmark. It's part of the show. We wonder what could have been. Maybe haven't given some clarity to the questions that we still have. Keeping in mind, there's 2 more bad boys of this.
This is a tough What the Hallmark. I don't really have much. I got to be honest.
I need clarity on, I don't think I understand. Her mom's an actor.
Sure.
But a traveling actor.
Yes.
That does local community theater, travels from community theater. I'm not saying that's, I'm just trying to get the timeline and the narrative. And then she acted, how did she meet the dad? Like that,
the dad.
Eve? Because At one point, he flies out to California, and
They
I assume
needed
that
They
So there's
travel.
a-
They were on the
she
travel.
acted in Vermont.
Stage actors travel in troops and
Right,
act.
I get that.
And so they all have a resume that people use like a database. And so they were in San Fran. They needed someone to fill in. And they looked through the Rolodex and found this guy and brought him
The
out.
biggest question,
Why did they go with him?
I will know. Here's the question: in that playbill, you know the one.
Yep.
Is James listed in the playbill?
Because they've met before is what I'm trying
It
to
just
say.
says thanks to James in the thank yous.
So why did she keep that playbill?
I have no idea.
Because
That's
they
a
had
great
already
question. I
been.
have no idea.
It wasn't like this is the playbill of the night that we met because they met in San Francisco. Why keep that playbill?
But she's in that play.
she is in that play.
That's right.
But
That-
why is
in the
that
Vermont.
yes, and that was the point of my wait what?
Yeah.
Which is she has been to Vermont. She has been to Vermont. She was in a play. James used to be in that play, but he's not anymore. But I'm going to save the playbill of the town that he lives in.
It's a weird
that's
bit.
weird.
I
That
think
is
that's
under-
what's
yeah.
throwing me off
Yeah.
from all that.
Doesn't
it
make any
just-
sense.
it
I don't
doesn't
know
make- I don't
why the
understand that.
playbill is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
My on top of that is at the beginning of this movie is she doing a one-man play of the Christmas Carol?
Yeah, I don't know. She's got quite a long monologue.
She's
to be
gonna.
on.
I don't
Is
know
it
of.
the Chris.
I don't know of it. Was it not the
I don't
Christmas?
know
It
if
is
it's
the Christmas
Is
Carol.
it the Christmas
It is the
Carol?
I think
Christmas
they
Carol.
say
Wow.
that because is there? There's the moment where Scrooge and Christmas Past and the girl, but like we don't see any Scrooge on stage. It's a very long monologue that I don't remember that character having in A Christmas Carol. Is she doing a one-woman play of A Christmas Carol?
Yeah, that's brutal.
Because
God
I'm
bless her.
in.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I do have one. I saved the most egregious wait what for my what the Hallmark. And it is, do you have to have rights to a Christmas Carol poster? And if so, how much do they cost? Because, and I scoured the internet and I looked. There are so many posters saying that we're playing a Christmas Carol or we're doing the play A Christmas Carol. Thousands. And none of them, in my deep dive, have just a crutch and a hat on the front. This Christmas Carol poster just has a giant crutch on it. How do you know it's a Christmas Carol? Crutch, tiny hat.
Hey, you know
that one character has a disability?
Tiny Tim's disability.
Yeah. What if you just focused on that?
What if we marketed it?
That it is just inexcusable, Hallmark, that you had your graphics department come up with a Christmas Carol poster that you didn't have to pay for, and they came up with, hey, I put a big crutch on it. What do you think? And you're like, that's gold, Bobby. Let's do it.
Put a hat on it and call it a day.
No one was acting and going, hey, should we have the giant crutch poster in the back or nah? This movie is terrible and was made with not a second thought about it. No one corrected anything. It was all first take McGee's out there. They just were like, yeah, let's keep rolling.
We did it,
I
everybody.
like First Take McGee.
I love him. I think
one
he
take,
gets
it
it
one
done.
take only.
He gets it done.
He gets it done.
Under budget.
Under
and-
budget.
Every time.
And in time.
I
Every
love
time.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. We do have a double decker of the week, which is very exciting. Panda, you walked in today. I told you on Tuesday you had a little spring in your step. Today you seemed like you were walking in molasses.
Yeah.
Who do we have today?
Lisa Murdoch.
Lisa Murdoch. I hope that your molasses steps aren't a foreshadow of things to come.
It might be. There's very rarely where I sit there and I go, I'm not sure this is a great idea. Most of the time, you can sell me.
Which is astounding because there's been a lot of bad ideas.
Yeah, and this one,
Yeah.
and there's been some ones that, in retrospect, I'm not sure they're
Sure.
great. But Lisa opened up a new store.
Okay.
And it's just called Trendy Tinsel.
Okay.
Trendy tinsel. Okay.
Yep. And she just takes things that are currently trending and wraps them in tinsel. That's it.
What's the upcharge?
Oh, it's a lot. And that's where you're getting me. Because
So, like,
I'm on
let's
board.
say, like, I wanted a pair of Yeezys.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So she would buy a pair of Yeezys.
Wrap those bad boys in tinsel.
And then what's the upcharge?
Yeah, $300.
It's a flat 300 no matter what.
For the Yeezys. No, she always goes,
Okay.
there's a percentage. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, how much are
What's the-
Yeezys? Because Yeezys aren't $300, are they? They're close.
Yeah, let's look.
Because is the upcharge 100%?
Well, let's get on the Yeezy. That's a number I'm not aware of, Dan.
You're not aware.
I'm not aware of it.
You did the deep dive. You don't know the percent upcharge.
All I know is I Googled how much are Yeezy trendy tinsel, and she said
it was $300 more than the cost.
Yeah,
of the Yeezys.
and I sat there and I said,
you knew that it was $300 more than the cost, but you don't know the cost of the Yeezys.
No, I didn't. I see Yeezy. It's outside my budget.
But if you know it's $300 more, then you know the cost of the Yeezy. There's no way around that. That's just math.
So it's $300 more.
yeah.
Okay, good. Thank God, because Yeezys are expensive boys.
How much are
They're
they?
anywhere from like $250 to $600.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about 100% upcharge to 50% upcharge if you did the 600.
Yeah, just it depends.
Lisa, I'm sorry,
So it's a percentage,
Yeah.
but it's not the same percentage.
but it's not the same percentage.
It's a. and
Seems like it's
little
just at the
concern.
whim of Lisa.
How Lisa's feeling that day. She gets squirrely sometimes.
She gets squirrely.
Okay,
sometimes.
what's
I took
another-
her, like for instance, I asked her if she could tinsel up my John Wick's collection, and she said $300.
Wow, that's big.
And she agreed that that was trendy enough to tinsel? Your John Wick collection
We had to negotiate. But
met the trendy barrier?
yeah.
Interesting.
It was DVD.
Yeah.
Not even Blu-ray, just
No,
a straight
I couldn't.
DVD.
Much,
yeah.
But it was worth it.
Is there
though.
anything she won't tinsel for the amount, for the right amount?
No, anything
Wow.
goes.
She really though trendy though at that, but like she's making a mockery.
Yeah, it's not trendy.
She's making a mockery.
She's
of-
making it trendy by tinseling it, is what she's saying.
Is that what she's saying?
I think it might be what she's saying. But
Okay,
she's,
but
she's
that's
a
not
wi-
what you said.
She's a
you
wild.
said she takes trendy things
And wraps them in
and
tinsel.
wraps them in tinsel.
Yeah.
What you're saying now?
She takes things, wraps them in tinsel, they become trendy.
trendy.
well, it's a little bit of both. I don't think they're
So
mutually
both ends,
exclusive.
yeah.
All right, thank God. We did it, everybody. We will be back on Monday with another movie title that I don't remember. And for sure, but look on the socials for all that information, and we can't wait for it. We're very excited. And until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast recorded live, and that Greenville, South Carolina, is produced by Brandon Gray. Set decor by Plum Haywood Mall. For more information on all Bramble Jam podcasts, you can go to bramblejampodcast.com. For more information on how to listen to Deck the Hallmark ad-free, you can go to bramblejamplus.com.